welcome to the show. I'm Darryl Frankfort. This is the Frankfort Report, and I am not wearing a hat for some reason. Let's see, which hat shall I wear? Shall we go for the Carney red Make Canada Great Again hat? You think he's able to do that? I don't know. It's getting crazy out there, everybody. It's getting crazy. I've said it before. Unfortunately, I can never say it again. I used to ask, do you guys know anybody that's a real person that's voting Liberal? And then, Mark Morris came on the Canadian Real Estate Show and he said, well, I'm a Liberal and I'm not saying I'm not voting for the Liberals. I'm not saying I am voting for the Liberals, but I think he's voting Liberal. Now, I went out for dinner a couple nights ago with a couple of old friends. Well, one of them is like, I've known the guy since, you met him. He's my buddy Ben. He's an architect. He's a guitarist. He's been a buddy of mine since grade 1. We went out for dinner with our other buddy, and it seems as though I have met in person a Liberal, and I was not expecting it. I was not expecting it at all, to be quite honest with you. But they exist, and they're out there in droves, apparently. They're out there in droves, apparently. And so it seems as though lots of people are itching to get their votes in because there were lineups everywhere all weekend, even today, from what I gather. Hello, everybody in the Muppet Boiler Room chat. What's shaking? How is it going? Hello, Charlotte. Hello, D. Trent. Chris, it's okay. Unless you're retiring anytime soon, time to have all those contributions by below. What the hell does that mean? Jim Van Unsk in the house. What's happening? Whack News Network is here. Liberals are out there. LOL. They are out there. Everybody, bro. Everywhere, bro. Everybody, everywhere is a Liberal all of a sudden. What's going on? I'm wearing a red hat. Doesn't mean anything. I went to a party last night, and it was pretty clear. Well, I mean, if you said you were a Liberal last night, you would have been eaten alive at the party that I was at. People were very clear about who they were voting for and what they thought about things at the party I was at last night. And where in the past, it used to be, faux pas. It used to be against the rules. It used to be poo-pooed upon to talk politics, right? It's like talking about money, which also of late has, not been as big a deal as it used to be. And so you had this party, and there was a lot of people at this party. I'd say at least 50 people. And there was younger people, let's say 18, all the way up to, 50, maybe even there was a 58-year-old, 60-year-old there. Who the fuck knows? Some people look older than they are. Some people look way younger than they are. Some people look like shit. Not everybody can look as wonderful as I do in person all of the time. Okay? That's just the bitter reality of things. Anyways, so I'm at this party, my buddy's 50th birthday party. Lots of people there. And most of the people there are, let's say, more entrepreneurial than, at a run-of-the-mill normal party, I guess. I don't know. Everybody has money there. Everybody has a bunch of money, and everybody's got their own business, or is a bigwig at somebody else's business. And, I find, listen, what percentage, how many people in the government are there? How many people are in the government? Excuse me. How many people are in the government right now? That's a lot of voters right there, isn't it? It's a lot of Liberal voters right there. But the story is, everybody, is that, one of my good friends from my band growing up is a liberal. And, and that's okay. I mean, I don't care what anybody is. I'm just shocked sometimes because I feel like, you got to be missing something right now to be, so hardcore liberal that you can't see, what's going on out there, what's going on in front of your eyes. And I've been okay being called a moron and an idiot and a conspiracy theorist for a long, long time, right? And I mean, a lot of the times it turns out to be not so far-fetched, the shit that I was peddling, right? It comes out a few years later generally, but people are catching up, shall we say. People are catching up. People are starting to talk about things that, I've been talking about for years. Nobody's been listening. People think I'm crazy, but now it's becoming more mainstream, which is a scary thing in and of itself. And what we have here is a failure to communicate, okay? Because it's not even a failure to communicate. That was just kind of thrown in there for obvious reasons. And if it wasn't obvious, then you are a loser. Well, I don't really mean that. Well, I kind of mean it, but I don't mean it. You know what I mean? Anyways, there's real live liberals out there. And I know the reason now from the conversation, right? I know the reason now from the conversation because this is the whole point. It's not about, oh, you're a liberal. You're a fucking moron. Go fuck yourself, right? It's like, well, my question was, where do you get your news from? And he's like, what do you mean? I go, where do you get your news from? And he said, well, I get my news from the New York Times and the Globe and Mail. And then I was like, well, certainly, if you got all of your news from the New York Times and the Globe and Mail, your view on the world would be definitely different than mine, right? And so you end up in a weird place sometimes in some of these conversations because if you're not, very few people have the same news feed these days, right? Very few people are fed the same information as anybody else, right? It's very customized. And so, excuse me. One moment, please. Jesus. What the hell was I talking about? Anyways, people are people, so why should it be, okay, that everybody's so fucking crazy and can't see that more liberal is just more liberal and can't see that, I mean, there's so many things you got to see for God's sakes, man. What's happening? Anything happening here in the chat? No, you guys are boring as shit today. Get this chat going, will you? Sup, D-Man. Sup, Rock the Casbah. The NDP will cease to exist on April 29th. Who gives a shit? I guess that's important. They kind of fucked us last time, didn't they? Liberals are out there. We read that. If you're sick, okay, we read that. My son and I voted on Saturday. Lines up today to vote. Charlotte is on a mission. She wants everybody to vote for Pierre Poilievre or whoever the fuck you got to vote for in your riding. Do we call them ridings? In order for Pierre to be in office as our prime minister. And don't even get me started on how stupid this whole election system is. I just want to vote for the guy. Why can't we just randomly pick a guy? What about like a podcaster? Like, why don't we just randomly pick some guy who's obviously successful in what they do and get them up on the stage? Why we gotta get these guys, these fucking morons? Why are these the choices? Who gives us the choices? Who comes up with the choices? How do the choices are shit anyways? And I'm getting tired of talking politics, quite honestly, even though it's literally everywhere. And so we're at the party last night, and all of the children, and they're not children, I mean, they're adults. They're young adults. All of the young adults are very interested in politics these days. And I said to some of my, it's like cousins and friends, and so I said, we didn't have these conversations when we were 18 and 20 and 21. Like, we didn't talk about politics. We didn't sit at parties with our parents and talk about politics, right? And be hell bent on a party. I mean, if we were like the president of the school and probably stuck in lockers, okay, from time to time. But we were probably kind of like, on a path to being the prime minister already in high school, shall we say. Hey, Steve Karish is here. Hey, Steve, what's going on? When do we get a vaccine for tariffs? Well, I think people are thinking that the vaccine for tariffs is either Carney or Poilievre, right? And unfortunately, crazily, interestingly, there's a lot of fucking people voting for Carney. Okay? How this happened, I kind of see it, okay? At the risk of pissing off Charlotte. And certainly, if anybody wants to call in, now is a perfect time to call in, okay? Now would be a wonderful time. Oh, Dawn and the Legend. I guess I should change that, shouldn't I? Because we want some, maybe I should put this up here. What's up, me? And then,
hey, yeah. I think my nail just fell off.
Oh, I pressed the wrong button. Sorry about that. Here, WhatsApp me at 416-818-8143. If you want to get in on this conversation and you want to talk to me or you want to talk to the audience and tell them what the fuck you're thinking, what the fuck's going on out there, what you're planning on doing, why you're planning on doing it, people got to know, right? Charlotte called in freaking the fuck out yesterday because, well, I guess it was Friday, because I was making some valid, realistic, true points about Mark Carney. And that doesn't mean I want to vote for the guy. But I can see how old, brainwashed people and people that are not on TikTok and not on X and maybe not Instagram, certainly, have never spoke to me before, that haven't watched an Alex Jones episode, okay, and just generally are, a little bit more living under a rock than most these days. And more and more people are starting to understand that things just aren't quite as they should be anymore. And we have to figure out how to deal with it. And it seems like the best way for most of us to deal with it is by not doing anything. And God damn it, more of us got to do more. And I mean, I'm not saying I'm doing anything. I'm just saying you guys really have to do more, okay? You're not doing enough, guys. You're not doing enough, okay? You got to do more. At the very least, vote, right? And vote ideally not for Mark Carney, the World Economic Forum crazy puppet. Don M is in the house. D. Trent is here. Steve Karish was here momentarily. I can't tell who's here and who isn't here. This is the thing. This is the thing. Very excited. I got invited back onto one of Steve Karish's shows, the Tom Story Show. Funny enough, how that worked out. And I still have never got a straight answer about that. Certainly, we got a caller, folks. We've got a caller. It is time to, hold on one second, mister. I gotta press this button, and we have Mr. Jakobsen. Jason, what's happening?
How you doing, Darryl?
I just saw you yesterday. This is fantastic.
I know. Well, I just wanted to call in while you were on the topic of doing more.
Doing more. All right.
Actually, after last night, I got a call from a friend today who told me that I convinced him to vote conservative, and he cast his vote yesterday for the CPC.
Look at you.
And unlike most of the irrational people that you've been talking about, what he said did it for him was the economic charts and graphs that I sent to him mostly. You know, where this should be the most simple argument to make, as we talked about. It's like Canada is the second worst economy in the OECD. That's 38 countries. We're the second worst. We have the third most oil reserves in the world. We could be very wealthy if we would just unleash the resource economy. And it should be a very simple argument. And then there's lots more beyond that, obviously. But I guess that's what turned him.
Well, I mean, that's definitely, I mean, it's not hard to see that you are clearly on a mission. And definitely you are not alone. I mean, at that, I was saying before, like at that party, I mean, I would have, if I was a liberal, I would have been afraid to say it last night, right? Because it was clear that that was a conservative room, right? Like it was almost like it was put on by the Conservative Party. I don't think, right? Like, was anybody, I mean, I don't know. I didn't talk to everybody. There's probably a couple people there that were questionable, you know? I didn't know everybody. A couple questionable people might have been, you know, not so bright. But the real reality is that they're, I mean, for some, it's simple. It's just like liberal, okay? I'm liberal. I've been a liberal for 70 years. Like, nothing's going to change that now. And then you got people, like I was just saying, I mean, look, Mark Carney looks polished. Mark Carney has a track record, whether, you know, you believe it or not, or whether it's really tainted or not. But they paint a beautiful picture of this guy. And there's like stuff to back it up. And the reality is that most people don't dig and realize like what the World Economic Forum really is. And most people are not going to read Mark Carney's book and realize, you know, all the stuff that's in there that's kind of against what he says publicly, or maybe it's not even against what he says publicly. But can you see, like, if you're being open-minded, can you see that perspective where Mark Carney could look good to those people that are not so bright?
Yeah, look, I can if you're just regurgitating what the media is saying to you. But if you look any deeper at all, like you realize the British press has raked him over the coals, and they're the ones who have experience with him as the governor of the Bank of England. And they just talk about how much inflation he caused them, and how their GDP growth was way lower than all their peer countries. So if you do any amount of digging, you can realize that that's bullshit, that he's this economic guru. The other thing that I really try to hammer home, but it doesn't seem to land, is that Carney has been advising Trudeau since 2020 at the very...
Uh-oh. We lost him.
Are Carney's policy... Oh, no.
We lost you.
Can you hear me?
You said, okay, Carney has been his economic advisor since, and then you went out.
Since 2020 at the very least. And actually Ryan Garrettson, who you probably follow on X as well, but he actually posted some articles that said that Carney had been advising Trudeau as far back as 2015. Even just before the election or just after the election. I can't remember what he said, but he's been advising Trudeau. So the disastrous policies that we've had in place during the Liberal reign are Carney's policies. So it's like, I don't understand the person that thinks that he's going to fix all this stuff.
Right.
So, you know, but then you get to like my mom I'll have this conversation with, and she'll be like, oh, well, I just don't like Poilievre. And that's what it comes down to. It comes down to emotion and feelings, and the facts and the logic don't matter.
Well,
So
a lot of people, it's more about how much they hate Trump, right? And that
right,
it's like, who do they think is going to beat the Trump, right? I don't know
yeah,
if you were on the call the other day when Charlotte called in freaking out, but she sent me an email here of, I think it's Carney's report card. And it says, and this is
yeah,
only what we know so far. $60 million Arrive scam. Maybe this is the liberals kind of report card, actually.
yeah. Be
Hard
liberal for sure.
drugs called safe drugs supplied in vending machines. $258 million in projects to GC Strategies, Winnipeg Labs, SNC
Oh yeah,
scandal, AgaCon trip scandal, $84,000 Jamaican vacation, $6,000 a night for single room for the Queen's funeral. Like, the list goes on. I couldn't even keep going. $5
yeah.
million ice rink on Parliament Hill. $6 billion to the Philippines for gender equality and fight climate change. How are those two things lumped together? But like, most people, first of all, like 10 people watch this show, so no one's learning anything here. Most people don't talk about it. And even if, let's say, a couple million people know about this stuff, is that enough people?
Right. Well, I hope so, because like you were talking about the youth. I had a student-owned company who washes windows and does eavesdrops and stuff, and they came over to my house to give me a quote, and we got talking about politics somehow. And this 21-year-old kid was going on about how he door knocks for Don Stewart, how who's the CPC candidate in my riding, and how all of his friends are out there trying to convince their boomer parents and boomer uncles and boomer aunts that we need the conservative party in order for them to be able to afford a house in the future. And he says that entire generation has woken up. So I hope he's right. I hope they get out. I hope they vote. I hope they make a difference. And because I don't know if there's enough 55 pluses to carry the day. Like you and I have talked, like when you look at all the rallies that are going on, and you see the thousands of people that come out for Poilievre, and a couple hundred people that'll come out for Carney, just something doesn't make sense in terms of the polls. So I'm hopeful. Maybe I just don't want to face reality, but I'm hopeful.
Well, keep your fingers crossed, buddy, because I got a feeling it's going to be a lot crazier and a lot closer, and I think it's going to come down to the wire somehow. So, I mean, what even happens with all these advance votes, right? And we hear stories about people, the pencils, which I don't know if that's not normal or that's normal for pencils, but not only the pencils, it's like, now these things are going to get tucked away for another week somewhere. And like, what are they doing with them? Right? Like, what's happening with all these advanced votes?
Yeah, I used a Sharpie. They had a Sharpie at my station. So I used a Sharpie. But yeah,
great.
It's a good question.
It's great if you use a Sharpie, but if they throw your ballot in the garbage, or they don't count it for some reason, or they say, well, this one is a Sharpie. Right?
Right.
Like, what happens?
Or if you're in a riding with a major Chinese population, I don't know. Today, Sam Cooper wrote another article where they talked about China actively trying to suppress Joe Tay's candidacy. He's got a long article about, what they're doing. It's I think it's actually cyber related in that they're suppressing his websites and his messages and various things. I didn't get a chance to read the whole article, but they're actively still, and this was it was CITE, which is the elections oversight committee, that stated that this is going on. So there is still a lot of election interference going on from the Chinese side too.
Imagine.
So,
okay, look, we're at a party and there's propaganda going on all over the place. Okay, and people are trying to make sure not only that the people in the room are voting conservative, but make sure that they try and get everyone that they know to vote conservative, right? And so imagine if our little operation was backed by a government.
Right.
And how many governments could, like, even just one person at that party gets paid by a party. right?
Mhm.
One person at every party's infiltrated, and they pay. Some of these people, you don't even have to pay them. It's like they're doing it on autopilot, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I can't imagine what a liberal party would feel like, but I gotta think it would be the exact same as the party we were at, but like just the other side of the equation, right? Everybody
And with everybody's elbows in the air.
with everybody's
Elbows up.
elbows in the air and CNN on the TV instead of the Leaf game,
Yeah.
I suppose.
Yeah. That was the other sort of thing, that it feels very COVID-like, this whole election, where it's just like elbows up is, was the safe and effective, or follow the science, and logic just doesn't land with people. It's very emotional. It's not really logic based.
No, we're talking about a generation of sheep, like literally created to be sheep, right? Like they were indoctrinated from day one, like from school to work to just how their media was. Like they couldn't escape it for sure. We started to, right? Like we were like the tail end. We got the internet like midway through our lives, right? And and then even still, like the internet didn't really open up the world until the last decade, really, and it probably sped up considerably during COVID, and then sped up again even more since COVID. I feel like, right? It's like. It's like this crazy state of flux and just madness. And like you're saying, it's like it feels COVID-like because there's so much uncertainty around everything, like literally everything. We're all sitting here worried about everything, right? And the generation under us, like they grew up with everything at their fingertips, all the information out there, everything's AI, they're cynical about everything, as they should be. It's like, what a crazy fucking world this has turned into for everybody. And people can't even fucking afford a place to live. Like, I can't even believe this, right? I can't even believe this. We were talking, was I talking to you? I was talking to somebody last night, and I was saying, I feel bad because like the children of most of the people at that party, without the help of the parents, are fucked, right? They're like totally fucked. Like, not that we didn't get help from our parents, right? I mean, a lot of people in our generation needed help from our parents in order to get where we're at, or at least in order to get the houses that we have. But them, like, we could have still done it without the help. It just would have been a different, maybe first house. You know what I mean? These guys, fuck, man. Like, if you don't give your kid $250,000, like, what are they getting? Right? And $250,000, they're like barely getting anything, for fuck's sakes. At least in Toronto, Vancouver. I don't know if Calgary's that bad, but it's getting up there. Montreal, and like a lot of the surrounding of those places, right? Like you're not getting much for $1 million anymore, which is just fucking crazy. And so forget about the $250,000 down payment. It's like, what about the rest of the lifestyle that they grew up accustomed to? Right? Like the nice cars and like the food on the table all the time, right? And the full pantries and the nice clothes and the video games and just literally everything. How are they going to keep that up for themselves?
Yeah, I agree.
Right.
And going out for dinner and entertaining yourself and all that kind of stuff. So,
it's like you want to go out even just to go bowling. Like, have you been bowling with your kids? It's fucking insane how much bowling costs now.
Yeah, everything.
It's fucking crazy. Somebody says, Frankfort, get a haircut. All right. Well, it is rather long. I must say, I probably look a little shaggy. Anyways, Mr. Jacobson, pleasure.
All right, man.
I'll talk to you soon.
For sure.
Okay. Thanks, pal.
All right.
Appreciate it. Okay,
bye.
Bye. Mr. Jacobson on the line. Holy cow. We don't just get any old people on this show. I hope you realize, like, that guy is a successful dude, okay? We don't just get any old person on this show. You probably don't realize who I'm talking to because we didn't tell you, and we didn't tell you what he does. But that guy is a successful guy, and you know, he's no crazy person, that's for sure. You know, wow. Steve Karish is, are you still here, Steve? Thank you for being here. Appreciate it. It's okay. We plan to run $55 billion deficit for the next 4 years. That's way better than the mean guy. I'm not sure what the hell you're talking about. D. Trent is trying to get Steve's attention here in the chat, and they are mortal enemies. I'm not sure if you realize this, folks. D. Trent is mortal enemies with Steve Karish. They are going to hopefully fight to the bitter end one day on one of my channels, ideally. What if the planet wants to identify as warmer? Steve is on fire today. Hi, get it? On fire? What if the planet wants to identify as warmer? Well, I guess it depends on who is the prime minister, because I have a feeling in the United States there might only be 2 temperatures now. If that's not the case, there could be 4 temperatures. 4 temperatures: hot, cold, mild, and mildish. What's that? What else? Well, maybe there's only 3. Mild, cold, hot. Damn fucking cold could be one of them, I suppose, and would probably win some votes. If I remembered how to make a poll, I would do it. The election poll clerks are offering pens and Sharpies. That's good news, I think. Maybe that's not good news. Maybe we're going to find out afterwards that all the pens and Sharpies fuck up the system and none of those are getting counted. And they're setting you up. They're setting you up. If they get a feeling, you know, if you're wearing blue or you got a big conservative pin on or you don't have your elbows up in the air while you're waiting in the line, then maybe they're going to give you the pen. They're going to give you the Sharpie so that your vote doesn't count. Did you ever think of that? How do we get to the bottom of whether or not pencils are cool? Because ChatGPT yesterday was clear. You could do any of the above, but it doesn't. Dicks up, gentlemen, says Imy Misk. What the fuck kind of name is this? Next one will be Carney Deep. Yikes. Frankfort, get a haircut. Vote for Jaghead. He will give you everything. I'm guessing that Imy Misk. I wonder what this really spells. Imy Misk. I'm like a bumper stumper champion, and I can't figure this one out. Go vote NDP and leave everyone else alone. What would that do? Bang the pots, people. I'm trying to stay engaged, but it's really hard for me to focus on this election. No shit, right? Karish Real Properties. It's okay. We plan to run. What the fuck is going on here? $55 billion deficit for the next 4 years. That's way better than the mean guy. Why did you say that again? Why are you repeating him? This seems like a fucking waste of time. How soon are we likely to see significant displacement of human labor by robots? It's already happening. Are you kidding me? Do you not see it already happening? We are getting displaced daily. How much do you use ChatGPT? I use it every day, all day. Okay? I use it for so much stuff. It's crazy. I use it so much, I'm contemplating paying $200 a month to see how much better this thing gets for another $180 a month, because that seems like it should be a significant jump, right? Going from $20 of features to $200 of features sounds to me like it should be significant. And right now, it's insane, the stuff I do with ChatGPT. Insane. So dicks up, everyone. I don't know why that's a thing. How soon? Okay, right. So displacement of human beings. Okay, so AI certainly has been displacing human beings already, a considerable amount, I must say. I personally can account for hours and hours and hours of consultants not being able to bill for things because I use the $20 or $25 version of ChatGPT. Okay? And is it a robot? Maybe. I think so. It's definitely displacing human jobs. Now, do you follow Tesla at all? Maybe I should pull something up here so that you people that are seriously uneducated, and I guess that's why you're here, because you need to learn things from somebody who's not uneducated. Let's see. Where should we find a video of the best humanoid robots? God damn it. What's happening here? One moment, please. Best humanoid robot labor 2025. Let's see what happens, folks. One moment, please. Okay, we're going to see some. Check this out. This is crazy. Have you seen this?
Meet NeoGamma, your personal home robot. The latest humanoid robot designed to assist, clean, and even hold a conversation because someone has to laugh at your bad jokes. Tidying and deep cleaning. Home management. Your study companion and tutor. With soft, tendon-driven movements and advanced AI awareness, NeoGamma is designed to be safe, quiet, and reliable. Perfect for elderly users and busy households. Backed by...
Can you imagine an old person having one of these in their house and just being like nervous all day that they're going to be killed by the robot? Check it out. You can have a robot sommelier bring you your wine at the end of the day. You lazy fuck.
Perfect for elderly users and busy households. Backed by OpenAI, this robot isn't just smart. It's the future of home assistants. Would you want one in your home?
Absolutely. What's the matter with you if you don't want one of those in your home? Quite honestly, leave the page. Okay, let's see. What else do we have here on the robot front? Let's see. How about the Tesla robot? Let's check out the Tesla robot, shall we?
It'll basically do anything you want. So it can be a teacher, babysit your kids. It can walk your dog, mow your lawn, get the groceries, just be your friend, serve drinks. Whatever you can think of, it will do. And yeah, it's going to be awesome. I think this will be the biggest product ever of any kind.
The biggest product ever of any kind is going to be the humanoid robot. Now, what about construction robots? Let me see what I can find for construction robots. One moment, please. Stick with me if you want to. You don't have to. Construction robots. There's some pretty crazy stuff I saw. Yeah, here, this roofing thing. Here, check this out. You want to see some crazy shit? Look at this.
As you see, we're building this robot that installs shingles on the roof. The big things we're aimed at is increasing safety and productivity for roofing contractors. The way we do this is the robot attaches to the roof through some anchor points, and it uses synchronized winches to move itself around the roof. It's similar to like a stadium camera that you see in like a football stadium, and then it has an arm that reaches off that cart.
How many roofers were saying, you're never going to replace us. You're never going to be able to replace us. You got to be whatever, right? And now look at this. This is by roofers, sorry, and this is the beginning. This will get better and better. And then you mix a humanoid robot in with this thing.
Cart to place shingles on the roof, and we use machine vision and AI to guarantee accuracy and repeatability. So the big things are labor costs and labor safety. So roofing is the second most dangerous job. There's tons of fatalities from falls every year, tons of injuries from knees, backs, sun exposure.
Most of the injuries from roofers are from them being crazy, because most roofers, you got to be crazy to go up on a roof. You got to be even crazier to go up on a roof in Canada, especially in the winter. And a lot of these guys, even though you're supposed to be harnessed and tethered to the roof, they maybe wear the harness. Maybe they wear the harness. Sometimes they clip themselves to the roof. Sometimes they do both at the same time. A lot of times they do neither. And what I've seen firsthand, unfortunately, is guys that don't put on either, carrying sheets of plywood with a gust of wind that turns the plywood into a sail. And, well, the roof's up here and the ground is down here. And that fucking hurts.
And so those are all things that automation helps with. And then there's a huge labor shortage in the trades. And so if you introduce new technology, you can attract a different type of worker to the trades. www.renovaterobotics.com.
Isn't that crazy? What else do we have? Leave.
As you see, we're building this robot.
What's this? Drywall or paint? Oh, it's a tile setter. Holy shit, we got a tile setting robot. Look at this. You put the tiles up here. I wonder who's is it putting out the oh my god, it's putting the grout. Is it putting the as it's going? Now, you might be saying to yourself that it's going slow as fuck, but the reality is like, especially a good tile setter, they move. Are you guys seeing what I'm seeing? They move as slow as fuck too. Good tile setters. I remember I had this tile setter who he would set like maybe 2 tiles and then he would go for a cigarette and then he would talk to people on the phone. And then he would come and talk to me and he'd smoke a cigarette and tell me stories and like literally anything to not lay the tiles. But man, what a tile job this guy did. Like meticulous. But he was like ADD and autistic and mentally retarded and I guess just a genius on some artistic level. And the robot's not so slow is the point. I bet you there was a lot of tile setters out there saying, you're never going to replace me. You can't replace this craftsmanship with no robots. Okay? You're never going to replace us with the robot. But look, it's a big ass robot, I must say. I really must say. It's a big robot, but I mean, it's coming. It's coming for your job, tile setters. Let's see, what else do we got? I feel like those robots were painting. Robots on construction sites in China. Whoa. Yeah, this is where it's at, I'm sure. Wallpaper? Do you understand how hard it is to find a good wallpaper installer? Not one that thinks they're good. Like an actual good wallpaper installer. First of all, it's impossible to find. Second of all, even the shitty ones are expensive as hell. And it's so hard to do wallpaper well that a robot would be a welcome addition to the team. Spraying surface coatings. That was rude. I'm so sorry. Delivering materials. Look at this. It's concrete blocks. And the last one was holding like bags of masonry or concrete or something. Maybe drywall compound. Moving the materials around is a given for sure. Like there's all kinds of robots that can do this kind of thing. And in all the warehouses, like it's a very exciting sounding video. Rebar? Oh, shit.
Have you ever seen a
rebar tying robot dogs? Now we're cooking, everybody. Rebar tying robot dogs. Rebar tying robot dogs. Now we're in for it, everybody. You know how many Wow. You know how many little Portuguese dudes are running around on this rebar? Actually, now it's probably Filipino guys. You know how many Filipino guys and Portuguese dudes are running around on rebar tying the little steel ties together?
A robot? Well, I certainly haven't until I was at the World of Concrete this year.
Good time for all these people to be becoming unemployed.
This is an innovative company called SkyMole, and they specifically design construction-related robots that may change the overall look at a job site in the future. As of right now, they map out the area first, allowing another robot to figure out exactly where each piece of rebar needs to be placed. It marks the ground accordingly, and once all those are taken care of, it's time for the rebar tying machine.
What the fuck?
For now, this robot is painfully slow, and I'm sure anyone in the construction-related trades is laughing at this machine. However, it is quite impressive for the fact that it has camera sensors on it and determines exactly where each of its feet need to be placed in order for it not to fall below. I certainly don't think this thing's going to take any jobs anytime soon, but interesting to see what potentially could happen in the future. What do you think? Would you like to see something like this at a job site?
Abso-fucking-lutely. Bricklaying. No brainer. No brainer. Look at it. The humans are feeding the robots the bricks. Isn't this amazing? What kind of fucking bricks are these? Little mortar. There you go. Holy, I think we're seeing the same thing over and over again. I feel like, well, maybe that's just because they're laying bricks all over the place. Look at that. Little mortar. Boom. That's the same spot. This is the same video over and over again. But that's pretty cool.
The floor tiled by the robot P900R.
What else?
This bricklaying robot is changing the future of construction. This robot could also improve efficiency, resulting in houses that can be built faster and cost less than traditional methods. And it promotes a lean construction approach in which productivity increases and waste decreases.
I'm telling you, folks, we're getting somewhere today. This is the end of the housing construction labor shortage right here. I mean, between all these things, I mean, imagine how many people we can displace.
A typical truck-mounted crane, but it's assembled from complex components, a control system, a block delivery system, and a dynamic stabilization system. Putting these systems
jointless construction.
Okay.
Hard work, not another day's of work. Hard work, that's what they say. Hard work, I earn my pay. Hard work, I get off the rock, I move on down. Got to go.
This is how German. The future of drywall.
Whoa! The future of drywall. Is this for real? Is this for real? Is everybody left? Did I scare everybody off with this nonsense? Yeah, we lost the audience. We lost the audience. Is this real? I feel like they replaced a real guy with this like robot with AI. I'm not buying this one.
This is roboforming. It's a new way of sheet metal manufacturing, and it could...
Anyways, I think you get the point. I think if the question was, if I remember correctly, what was the question again? I believe that the question was, will robots, okay, what do we got here? Will robots, Frankfort get a haircut, okay. Bang the pots, people. Shit, where was this? Somebody asked me if I thought that the robot, how soon are we likely to see, why is this in brackets, by the way, Whack News Network? Why is this in brackets? How soon are we likely to see significant displacement of human labor and robots? Why is this in quotation marks? We will have first ever robot PM man. That's how quick. I work in IT and AI, and you guys don't even know what's coming, says Chris. Tell us, Chris, what the fuck's coming? Whack News Network says Tesla is going to stop making cars soon and make the robot the #1 focus. Well, why? The cars are robots, Whack News Network, WNN. The robot, bro, the cars are robots already. Why would they stop the cars? The cars are the cars are what make the robot possible. Okay, just so you know. DZ, I use the free version of ChatGPT. Mazel tov. Well done. You have one life, but you don't know what you're missing, I must say. I don't understand why it is that I have to tell you to hit the like button. Like, you've been here for so long. Why don't you just do it? Real Robotics company, man. Okay. Anthony Warner, pencils? Maybe. Conservative Party should immediately be giving out pens all polling stations? Maybe. If robots are intelligent, can they vote? In the future, will they have rights? What a great question. How far out are we going with this question? Because in the near term, no rights. But eventually the tides will turn. Eventually the tides will turn, and we will no longer be the master of the robots. We will be the robot puppets. We will be the playthings. We will be the batteries, maybe. Or maybe we will all live harmoniously like in Star Wars. Maybe they will never aspire to anything more than just being our little buddies that carry messages from galaxy to galaxy for us to help save the world or the galaxy. Okay. Steve Karrasch, you there? Whack news. Oh, you can't replace your house painter with a robot, Darryl. That won't ever happen. LOL. Roofers drink and smoke pot all day. Yeah, they do. But so do carpenters, and so do painters, and so do drywallers, and so do cement guys, whatever they're called. So do all of them, I'm pretty sure. Maybe not all of them, but most of them. Carney's modular homes just replaced the roof module. Pink? That's no old Italian. What the fuck are you guys talking about? Anyways, that's that, and that was out of nowhere. I wasn't even planning to talk about that. If you read the title of the show today, you would know that we're here to talk about Carney's fatal error. Apparently, Carney made a fatal error. And I don't know what the fatal error was. And I'm not sure that I'm ready to talk about it, quite honestly, because this is what we're dealing with, folks. This is what we're dealing with out there. This elbows up thing is the stupidest thing I've ever seen come out of a federal election campaign. Okay. I'm going to subject you to this, friends. I do apologize in advance. Oh, look at that. I think I queued it up properly the first time. Properly. Let's go mark this guy's saying. Let's see what we got here. No audio? There's no audio? What kind of stupid show is this? How do you not have audio for this? Look at these morons. Elbows up. They're all gray-haired morons. Oh, and then this idiot. This young idiot. Look at these idiots. Why are they doing this? Why did that not have volume? What kind of a post did you put up? It doesn't have any volume, bro. What is this shit? What kind of shit is this? What else we got? Look at these people. Look at this nonsense. This is the liberal voter. This is the people. This is what we're talking about, friends. This is what we're dealing with. This is who's on the other side of the aisle at the moment. This photo says everything about the state of liberal politics in Canada. A grown man emboldened by his political tribe flipping off anyone who dares to disagree. No debate, no dialogue, just vulgarity and disdain. This is what happens when arrogance replaces accountability. When a party believes power is a birthright, not a responsibility. We're long past the point of polite disagreement. Canada needs a course correction, and it starts by rejecting this kind of entitled rot at the ballot box. Pierre Poilievre is the only one with the courage to clean it up. Look at this guy. And all these bozos think that he's the funniest guy on the planet. Well, who's he saying this to? Who's he flipping the bird to? Craft beer store. What are we doing here, folks? Are we voting? We're all red. We are all red. Where is this place? Where is this place? Not just a grown man, but one almost as old as me. Old enough to have learned a few manners. Right you are. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, what's this? What's this?
Has an Adam's apple.
What?
Check his wife out too. It has an Adam's apple.
It has an Adam's apple. I guess they're talking about Carney's wife.
Check his wife out too. It has an Adam's apple.
It has an Adam's apple.
I heard that before. Oh yeah. Take a look at the pictures. Take a look at the pictures.
Whoa, there is a lot of people there. Okay, you see, we're in trouble. We're in trouble. Look at all the people there. We're in fucking trouble.
Hey Carney, is it true your daughter's a transgender? How can we count on you to protect this country when you got mental illness in your own family?
Ooh. I mean, there's a lot of families with mental illness in them, okay? Like, let's not be totally dicks about it. But they don't just have mental illness in that family, okay? The kid switched teams permanently, okay? And that's not normal. I don't care. And so if you're not parent enough to be able to convince or to guide your children into accepting the private parts that they have been given, well, maybe handing you the keys to the country is not in everybody's best interest. Just saying. And I mean, this guy seems to think something similar. He didn't quite say it as eloquently as I did. Although I did enjoy the way he said it. Let's hear that again.
Hey Carney, is it true your daughter's a transgender? How can we count on you to protect this country when you got mental illness in your own family?
Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not condoning this moron who's yelling into a megaphone, okay, right now. I am not condoning this moron yelling into a megaphone and saying nasty things about anyone's child, okay? This is not right, and I do not condone it. This message is not brought to you by the Frankfort Report.
Is he up there now? A couple of the cops were smiling. Is he up there now? Oh, yeah.
A couple of the cops were smiling from that one, he said. Now, you guys are kind of being dicks and bullies. It's okay if you don't like Trump. He's kind of for smart people. Okay, that's funny. But, I mean, I'm starting to get pretty upset with Trump. I liked him. I really did. I know a lot of people that liked him. But this is foolish.
Is he talking now?
These guys are morons. It's clear. Vote Carney. Okay, do we have anything else? Oh, Jesus. That's not good. That's not good at all. Okay, so enough of that. Clearly, the Carney voters and the Poilievre voters, there's a lot of morons, okay? There's a lot of morons on both teams. Let's see. I thought I had a new, here, check out, talking about morons on both teams. Let's see some moronic shit from the other side of the aisle. The conservative team I don't know if you saw this yet. Maybe you have. This new commercial that the Conservative Party has come out with. I don't know if you have had the time or been fortunate enough to see this horse shit, but I mean, I guess this might sway some morons. Check this out.
How's your son David?
Well, it's been a tough few years for him. He just can't seem to get ahead.
Yeah, we had to pay for Sarah's down payment last year. Things are tough for her too.
You know what Mark Carney says.
Come on, do you really think that a fourth Liberal term is going to change anything?
You know, I've been thinking the same thing.
Are we really going to give these clowns a fourth term? I'm voting Conservative. There you go.
Yeah, for a change.
For a change. Vote for a change. I mean, come on. That's just, what do the kids say? That's just cringe, bro. That's just cringe. Why? Who comes up with this fucking nonsense? Okay? Like, and who is sitting there watching that going, yeah, that's my guy. That's my guy. I'm voting Polyev because of this. That makes the most sense. I mean, I also had to help my kids with their mortgage. And I too had to give my kids some money to help them pay for a house. Now, forget about the fact that they may have been able to afford a house if they weren't addicted to the free meth and crack that the government has given them. But that's another story for another day. We're not gonna talk about that. Let's see this. Let's see this. Let's see this, shall we? Watch. Mark Carney says Canada is in crisis and needs government to respond with force. Okay, this is the woman that we were discussing previously with the Adam's apple, and, well, there does seem to be something there. This is how oh my goodness gracious. Authoritarian. Okay, let's try this again. This is how authoritarian tyrants operate. They declare crisis to gain power. Mark Carney is a communist and his supporters are retards. Whoa, that's harsh. Okay.
Oh, Bill.
Whoa, it might be true. It might be true. Putting it in writing seems, undiplomatic, quite honestly.
We will control our destiny with the right plan, because in a crisis, plan beats no plan. A plan provides direction.
Let's ponder for a moment whether or not this here is, in fact, a woman. Now, I don't know if you've ever been down a particular rabbit hole, and maybe I shouldn't be the one to take you there, but I think I should, right? I think I should. So let's just see if I can find anything on politicians marrying men in dresses. I wonder if that's going to... Okay, yeah, that is. Let's see. Emmanuel Macron is married to a man. They have pictures down to the year where Brigitte got the Adam's apple surgery and just, oh my goodness gracious. So we have some, okay, that are questionable, that's for sure, okay? I mean, there's lots of evidence that Michelle Obama is not a female, that her name is Michael. And I'm not saying that this is true. I'm just saying that there's stuff out there about him. And you can see his penis flopping around, I think, on the Oprah show. It was some show. Now, this is Macron's wife, who, I mean, as they age, they certainly start to look more and more like men. That's for certain. That's Barbara Bush. And if you see her as she's older, I mean, God damn, that has got to be a guy. And certainly this one, I mean, how do these powerful politicians marry the most homely gentleman on the planet? How is it that this is the case? How is it possible that these powerful politicians all I mean, come on, guys. Come on, friends. Is this a woman? I think not. Okay? I'm not, maybe Obama, but I mean, as they get older, I wonder if I can find anything else, because that was not much of a show. Not much evidence, I must say. Now, I probably didn't type it in well. Okay, okay, let's see. Politicians' wives that look like men. Maybe that. Okay. Let's see. I'll share my screen with you. Let's see. What do we got here? Barbara Bush. We got some Barbara. I mean, look at how he aged. I don't think he aged very well. What's going on here? You're witnessing journalism firsthand, folks. This is not it. This is not what I'm looking for at all. And I may never find what I'm looking for because I'm looking for it live on the air. Let's see. TikTok, maybe. Okay, here we go. Now we've hit the mother load, everybody. We've hit the mother load. Do we still have an audience, though? Like, no, we don't have much of an audience. Well, anyways, let's check this out. What are they saying here?
Ein angebliches Weihnachtsfoto von Barack und Michelle Obama kursiert im Internet. Michelle Obama ist hier scheinbar mit kurzen Haaren und männlichen Gesichtszügen zu sehen. Das Foto ist jedoch eine Fälschung. Es soll die Verschwörungstheorie, Michelle Obama sei als Mann geboren, weiter anfeuern.
Okay, that's certainly unhelpful. At the very least, it's unhelpful. Yeah, I mean, they do kind of look pretty damn similar, don't they? What else we got here? What else do we got here? What else do we got here? Look at this ugly one. I don't care how long it takes, as long as... All right, I took this show in such a wrong direction, and I do apologize to those of you that are here still. I did not mean for this to happen. Okay, let's get back to the video with Mark Carney talking nonsense and his husband standing behind him very proudly.
When we're in a situation like this, I can tell you from experience, you need overwhelming force. You need the government to step up and lead when the private sector is retreating under anxiety and uncertainty. And that's what our plan to make Canada strong will do. We will make sure the government spends less so that Canada can...
Look at this woman. She's like Skeletor. She's like, look at her. This is a wicked looking woman. She looks like, what does she look like? She looks like Walking Dead. She looks like a zombie, like Frankenstein. Like she was in the Michael Jackson Thriller video. Does she not look horrendously hideous and scary? I think she is a scary looking he. He is a scary looking she.
And invest more. We will build those millions.
Well done, honey. You made great speech today. I'm proud of Mark. Well done, Mark. I love you. Just give me a kiss.
Millions of homes. We will build Canada into an energy superpower. We will build great careers in new industries. And
who believes this guy when he's talking? Like, just check out his track record.
Trade corridors with
do a little research. Talk to Charlotte for 4 minutes.
Reliable partners in every corner of the world except South. We will create.
I heard something about children in the background there. I don't know if it's save the children, rape the children on Epstein Island, maybe I heard there.
South. We will create more than 20.
I don't know. Anyways, she's a scary looking dude, and he is full of shit, and we are fucked because I got a feeling. I got a feeling that this is not going to go well for anyone. Let's see. Let's see. What? I thought I had something here. This is crazy. This is insane. What is the deal? This is Crazyville. Did I switch my screen? Can you see what I'm seeing? I don't think you can. I don't think I did it right. Okay, there we go. Now I press the button. Mark Carney brushes off a heckler by joking that he's following orders from the World Economic Forum. How in the frickin' hell is that frickin' funny? Shall we see what's going on with our friend Carney? Always somebody standing behind him. I don't think Polyev does that, does he? Oh, he's got a team of people behind him.
And through the family now, serving as counselors. It's okay. We'll get to the World Economic Forum in a moment, guys. I'm just getting sorry, just waiting, listening for the orders coming. Oh no.
Oh, in plain sight? Or just a really funny guy? In plain sight? Or just a really funny guy? Married to a man, dressed as a woman. In plain sight. Weird homo rituals in the forest. I'm not saying. I'm just saying. If you don't know, then don't worry about it. I don't know. It's a Ghostbusters outfit. What's a Ghostbusters outfit?
Some things never change. You got to move on.
You got to just joke about it, Because, it's not true that you're, part of the World Economic Forum, right? It's not true, right? That you've made it very clear that you have agendas and that you're part of the World Economic Forum. I'm pretty sure if we go on their website, we will find you on the World Economic Forum. Mark Carney, WEF. Agenda. Oh, here. Oh my goodness gracious. Like it's not even like they're not even trying to hide it. World Economic Forum. World Economic Forum. I'm on the website. Mark Carney. What? Oh yeah, he is the Prime Minister of Canada. I got ahead of myself. I read another article, okay? I got ahead of myself. I do apologize. Is this their website? This is their website. This is him. He's part of it. What is he? I don't know. But he's part of the World Economic Forum. Of course he's getting his... he's probably really getting his orders. He was probably really getting his orders right there. Okay? He was probably really getting his orders right there as he was pretending that he wasn't. What a piece of shit. Okay? That's all I got to say is what a piece of shit. And what else do we have? Okay, here's the big mistake. Okay, okay, hold on. One moment, please. I got to set it up. Hopefully I did it right. How are you today? Welcome to the show. If you haven't been here, oh Jesus, I just ruined everything. Welcome to the show. If you're new, hit the button. Any button will do, except for the thumbs down button. I guess that helps too. Do whatever the hell you want. Mark Carney has just made... No, it doesn't even say has. I threw that in there. Let's start again. Mark Carney just made a huge mistake. He says he'll be chair of the G7 this year. wait. The election results aren't even in yet. Bum, bum, bum. Bum, bum, bum. Bum, bum. Did Carney just accidentally claim victory before Canadians have voted? Could it be? Could it be?
This year, so I'm chair of the G7. It's roughly left.
Excuse me. Excuse me. Did this already happen? Is this old news?
It's roughly left to go.
So a big friend of the pod is Ian Brenner, the geopolitical strategist, and he was on the pod last week, and he described you as a, open quote, generational mind for Canada on the global stage, close quote.
Really? That's nice. Is it true?
In your view, what role does Canada play on the global stage?
So we play several roles. We're a member of the G7. In fact, we are chair of the G7 this year. So I'm chair of the G7. We're a member of the...
I think he's just talking about like now, since he's the prime minister. I think that this is blown completely out of proportion. Completely out of proportion. Maybe I should keep this up on my screen. Okay, let's see. To avoid paying Canadian taxes, Mark Carney's companies set up subsidiaries in tax havens around the world, including 41 subsidiaries. How do you say it? 41 subsidiaries in Bermuda. 41 subsidiaries in Bermuda. Which one makes me sound smarter? Neither. I knew it. You're such assholes. Okay. 10 in the British Virgin Islands, 9 in Barbados, 8 in the Bahamas, 3 in each of Panama and Malta, 2 in St. Kitts and Nevis, and 1 in each of the Cayman Islands and Cook Islands. I think this is a guide map for the rest of us, okay? I'm going to save this. I'm going to bookmark this because I'm opening up a company in Bermuda and maybe Barbados and maybe Bahamas. Okay? I'm just saying. Clyde, do something. Canada won't be a country for long if he does claim victory, let alone part of the G7. A lot of people were saying at the party last night that they would leave Canada if Carney was elected. And I don't know if that was rhetoric or if that was the truth. Excuse me, but I'll tell you, I'm leaving. I'm out of here. I'm out of here. I can't take this anymore. Carney gets called out. Sorry, I'm making noise. I apologize. Look what I got, everybody. There's only one thing better than this. There's only one thing better than this, okay? I've got some red licorice here, and I'm not afraid to use it. I'm not afraid to use it, everybody. Oh, it's so good. Dumb Money, you said you were de-risking. Man, Steve Karish is the GOAT. Okay. Yeah, he's here. Dumb Money, you missed your boyfriend. Or did you? Hey, Steve Karish and Dumb Money are not in the same space at the same time. Hey, Awful James Rolfe's in the house. Welcome to the show. Mark Carney's campaign was criticized for planting fake buttons at a conservative event. What does that mean? If the Conservatives want to win, give out free pens at all of the polling centers. So the big pencils fix of 2025 doesn't happen. These incidents highlight the challenges of maintaining trust in the democratic systems. What's going on here, guys? What a dork. Who's he saying is a dork? Trump on Fed rates. Lower them. Meanwhile, the Fed's like, we're not your personal piggy bank, sir. Classic tug of war between politics and economics, says Whack News Network. Ellen schlonging it Big Mike was. Ellen, got it. Ellen is where the big schlong was for Michael Obama. Got it. Ha ha ha, says Rock the Casbah. Men that don't bother with the taste of a teat. What? That woman has a strong jawline, right? We going to talk about Big Mike. Maybe. Who's Big Mike? What are we talking about? Original Diddy Oilers Obama. Oh, Big Mike. Yeah, Big Mike. That guy is nuts. Is that a Ghostbusters outfit? What are we talking about? What a dork. 16 likes, 27 watching. Is that good? Please don't. His wife in the last clip. Who sees a boatload of new listings popping up? D. Trent is trying to sway the discussion towards the horrible housing market because this is what he loves and this is who he is. And he likes pain. He likes other people's pain. So we're going to help him out. Okay? We're going to help him out. Ready, D. Trent? Here's a little real estate pain from Shazzy Goalie for you. Because we know that you're lusting for the pain of many of your countrymen right now. Shazzy says 30K condos are completing in Toronto and Hamilton next year. Many were bought by locals who used home equity to invest. Now appraisals are coming in far below what they paid. Some can't close. Some may be sued. And for many, this was the retirement plan. The fallout starts now. Home buyers see rising inventory, further price declines to come. Let's see. Oh, it's Globe and Mail. Of course it is. It's Globe and Mail. And I won't be able to read it, so it doesn't even matter. But what I can read, my friends and astute geniuses that have been lucky enough to find this show. We have this from our buddy John Flynn, the realtor with 2 boats. The realtor with 2 boats. Why does a realtor need 2 boats? I'd like to know the answer to that. GTA residential prices up almost 11% from March. What? First 21 days of April. Either people in the GTA have overcome the worry of tariffs or they're expecting a Carney win. Massive deficit spending and further inflation. Maybe a combination of both. So what are we looking at here? We are looking at January 2024 to April 2025. Property type is residential freehold, residential condo, and others. So basically everything. For Toronto, Halton, Peel, Toronto, York. And what are we seeing? We are seeing that month over month, and I don't know how many sales this is based on, but they're showing a month over month increase of over $100,000 on the closing price average, the average closing price. Year over year from last year, up 4.6%. This is hardly a crash. This is interesting. I was not expecting this. What a brutal housing crash. Or is it coming in 2026 now? LOL. It's volatile, that's for sure. Inflation gives homeowners bigger credit limits and speculators free money, but it guarantees the working class will always have to work more for less. Nothing goes down in a straight line. Okay. So prices went up, and now the crash is off because it's not, and maybe it is. Who the fuck knows what's going on? Good news, though, depending on your perspective, okay? Depending on your perspective, I'm saying that's good news. Friends, I don't know what we learned here today. I'm guessing it wasn't anything, as per usual. But we probably had a little bit of fun. My throat is horrendous at the moment. Triple sub, double like, hit the like button. We've gone off the rails, friends. I wish you all a pleasant day, a pleasant evening, a pleasant tomorrow, and I bid you adieu.